Good evening. We're going to be discussing this evening the seasons of the year. We just entered the winter months, and we'll be discussing the different seasons. Beginning from Chumash itself, the seasons are broken down into 6 different sections. As Noach, after the Mabul, after the flood, was promised that 8 Kol Yimei Haaretz, that all the time the world will exist in a very normal way. Zera, the time of planting; Kotzi, the time of cutting the harvest; Kreir, cold, hot, summer, winter, day, night, nothing will stop. So Rashi explains, the commentator, and the first and foremost commentator on Chumash, explains that every one of them is basically 2 months. The time of planting, the time of cutting, the time of the cold, the hot, the summer and winter season. So this is basically, throughout the year, there are basically 6 seasons. But we'll first discuss the 2 general seasons, which break down into 6 months each. The summer season and the winter season. The winter season begins from Rosh Hashanah, and it is 6 months from Rosh Hashanah until Adar. Adar is actually the last month in the winter season, and Nisan begins the spring. The summer months, as Chassidus explains, there are 6 months winter, 6 months summer. The 6 months, we'll explain further what the difference is between winter and summer. Practically speaking, the difference is very simple. The winter time, it is colder. There's more precipitation, not only from of rain, but there's at times also snow, ice. In the summertime, it's mainly, if there's precipitation, it's basically rain, and it's warmer. The sun is out. There are more daylight hours, and it's considered like a different planet. It's like 2 different weathers, 2 different planets. It's like coming from summer to winter to summer is like going from one state to another state, going from the north to the south, to Florida or any other place where the sun is out. Chassidus explains that when we look on a deeper level, what is the difference between winter and summer? So it reflects the physical features of what summer is and what winter is. Winter is cold, winter is dark, there aren't as many daylight hours as in the summer, and therefore these 2 features, cold and darkness, is basically this, interferences and disturbance for a person to accomplish what he needs to accomplish. Coldness is something that the body does not feel comfortable with. Darkness is something that the body clock slows down. If it's dark, the body clock is a person when he's in bed, and it's not bright enough. Sometimes they feel they want to sleep another few minutes because it's dark and it slows down the person, the mentality of the person. A person is influenced by the environment. On a spiritual level, coldness and darkness is the opposite of godliness. Coldness is the opposite of energy. It's the opposite of warmth. And darkness, again, is the opposite of light. Darkness shows our negativity. It's the opposite of positive, upbeat, optimistic. In every way, darkness is something that shows a person's on a lower level. This is basically the difference between winter and summer, that winter is darkness and coldness, which are interferences that do distract the person, slow down the person in serving the Almighty. Either it's in praying or learning. A person's body slows down due to the weather, to the coldness, due to the precipitation that takes place. and due to the darkness that the body clock also senses it. The summer, on the other hand, the sun is out, and the sun symbolizes the revelation of godliness, as we see it in the verse in Psalms, in chapter in Tehillim in the 70s. So it says over there, Kishemesh Mogin Hashem Elikim, that the sun and its shield are compared to reflect the Almighty, and the Almighty's name, Shem Havaya, which is basically the 4-letter name, which is the primary name amongst the 7 sacred names. It's the name which is the revelation, the primary revelation. It is the name that is the essence of all the names. And then comes the second name, Shem Elikim, is the name which shows contraction, limitation, concealment. So in the same sense that the sun has a shield around it, in the same sense the Shem Havaya, the revelation, the intense revelation of godliness, has also a certain limitation which the Almighty has established in order that the creations will be able to receive the revelation without expiring, without standing in a state of nullification. So Shemesh basically reflects a revelation of the Almighty. In addition to the natural fact that Shemesh is a creation, the sun is a creation of the Almighty. So in addition to that, it also reflects on a spiritual level. Shemesh is basically the revelation, relates to the revelation of the Almighty. As the Talmud says it also in the tractate of Seta, connecting it with Shimshon, with Shemesh, that it's connected with the Almighty. So we have summer, exactly the opposite of winter. Summer is basically light, warmth, which symbolizes godliness. So in a nutshell, the difference between winter and summer, when we speak about the relationship between a person and the Creator, it is the difference between the initiative that is accomplished from above, from on the part of the Almighty, or the initiative that is accomplished on the part of the creation. When it comes to to summer, the sun is in its fullest splendor, many daylight hours, it's warm, it's light, a person feels up and around, especially springtime when everything starts blossoming, it refreshes the whole creation. And therefore, it is a time of renewal. It is a time of a new life. Everything is rejuvenates. Everything is basically renewed again. And therefore, this also makes it easier for a person. A person feels lighter. It's not the cold. It's not the darkness. It's a person that's wide awake, especially with the daylight hours. The body clock becomes more alert and has more hours of work, of being able to do activities because the sun is out. So this is considered an awakening from above. It is considered an inspiration and a revelation on the behalf of the Almighty. It's called Isarusa de Leila, an awakening from above. On the other hand, when it comes to winter, there's darkness, there's coldness. A person has to dig out of it. They have to dig out like they're digging out of a snowstorm. So there's initiative on the part of the person that a person has to dig out and climb up from below to above. The months of the year, as mentioned, there are the 6 months that begin from Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year, and then there's the 6 months that begin in the month of Passover, Pesach. Rosh Hashanah, the name of the month in which we have all the holidays in the beginning of the year, is called Tishrei. The word Tishrei means the name of the month, Tishrei. It also has the same letters like Reishis. If we should turn around the name of the month of Tishrei, we also have the same letters, Reish, Shin, Yutov, the head of the year. But what I'm pointing to is basically another significance. Tishrei is spelled Tov, Shin, Reish, Yud. You're starting from the bottom, you're climbing up. Tov, and then comes a Shin, and then comes a Reish, and it comes up higher till it comes to the Aleph. which means that the Aveda, the service of Tishrei, is the service of tshuva, repentance, initiative on the part of the person. A person is climbing up from below to above. And as Chassidus explains, it is not only Tishrei, it's the whole 6 months. A person is dealing with darkness, with coldness, from without and from within. From the outside, the weather. From the inside, the animal soul jumps on such occasions, slows down the person, says, what do you have to get up? It's still dark outside. What do you have to run? It's cold outside. And therefore, it is basically obstacles that interfere in the service of the Creator. So, basically, this is, in the summertime, there's an inspiration from above. The sun shines. It also assists a person in serving the Creator. In the wintertime, it is a time that a person has to dig. He's surrounded by a not such friendly environment. Therefore, a person has to dig out from it. Summertime, Nisan time, this is the time that we also begin, halachically speaking, just to discuss what is the difference between winter and summer. Winter is the time that we say, Mashav Ruach Umerid HaGeshem. We begin, the 8th day of Sukkot, we begin praising the Almighty. We're not asking yet for rain. In Israel, they ask for rain on the 7th of Cheshvan. They already began asking for rain. They're saying, Talamata Levracha. We don't, according to the Talmud, we don't have the problem that they have in Israel with water, with rain, so therefore we can rely on asking the beginning of December. It's interesting, the English date, mentioned in Shulchan Aruch, because this is 60 days after the Tkufa, the time period of the month of Tishrei. So therefore, we ask then for rain, we request, but we begin praising the Almighty on Shmini Atzeres, the one that brings wind and rain and Geshem. Mashe Baruch Umerid HaGeshem. The reason that we wait till Shmini Atzeres, because since Sukkot is a time that we're out in the Sukkah, and we don't want that rain should come in the Sukkah because it's not considered such a blessing, so therefore we wait for Shmini Atzeres, the last day of the Yom Tov. And that's when, that day already, by the end of the day, we leave the Sukkah. Sometimes you really have chazanim, cantors, especially this year, it really proved it, that when they were mispalel for Geshem, it really got cloudy, and it seemed like, oh, thought it's coming down already. But however, it was very interesting. It's just switched around, and all of a sudden the clouds disappeared. It looked like rain. I mean, for those of us that remember, it looked like rain, cold, cool, and it was ready to come down. All of a sudden, everything spread out, and we had 8 days this year, which were clear days, that we had the merit to eat in the sukkah and not to look for an excuse not to eat in the sukkah. Now, Shmini Atzeres, the reason that we ask for rain is we praise the Almighty for Shmini Atzeres, for rain on Shmini Atzeres, because Shmini Atzeres is basically the absorbing all the holidays of the month of Tishrei. And in the same way that the absorbing, in the same way that when it comes to a relationship between a husband and wife, so there's also the absorbing that the wife receives from the husband when they're together in a marital relationship. So this is also the relationship that we have with the Almighty that results later in the 7 months to Pesach, which is considered like the birth of the souls. And the conceiving is on Shmini Atzeres.